I want to welcome everyone to the Hands of the White Wizard campaign for the One Ring. This is our first adventure. This is from the book Hands of the White Wizard that just came out from Free League. In fact, my book arrived about a week ago, so very timely. And this first adventure is called The Beast of Dunland. And we will do these consecutively through the book, but sometimes there's a gap of time that takes place in between adventures. But this first one takes place in the summer of the year 2965 of the Third Age. This is somewhere between the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So let's give you a little intro here about the campaign. So 3 times in the years of sun and moon, the great powers of the undying lands in the uttermost west took up arms against the shadow. The first occasion was the dreadful battle that broke the dominion of Morgoth. Terrible was the wrath of the Valar. In that battle Beleriand was drowned and mountains shattered, and there was a great turmoil and terror, and much beauty was lost. An age of the world later, Sauron, Morgoth's chief lieutenant and disciple, convinced Ar-Pharazôn, the 25th and last king of Númenor, to invade the Undying Lands. And when he set foot on the shore of Valinor, the powers called upon the One, and the world was remade. Once again there was terrible destruction. The great island of Númenor sank beneath the seas, and many lives were lost. Elendil and his faithful fled the wreck of their homeland, as did the Dark Lord. Even though Sauron was later defeated by the last alliance, a shadow lingered in Middle-earth, nameless and hidden. Once again the powers of the West interceded. This time they did not send a heavenly host, nor did they shatter the world. This time they would act with subtlety. Around the year 1000 of the Third Age, or 1965 years before our game, the powers of the West sent 5 messengers, the Istari, to advise and guide, to draw together all those who had the will to resist, and to contest the power of Sauron. Wizards, some called them. Each of these 5 wizards had a purpose assigned to them. 2 traveled far into the east, reaching lands long under the dominion of darkness, and of them little is known, and no tales are told in the west. Of those who remain in the northwest of Middle-earth in the present year, Radagast the Brown delights in the living world, in trees and flowers, beasts, and especially birds. The corruption of the shadow may be seen in the land, as the enemy despises all that grows under the sun. With his keen-eyed birds, it was Radagast who searched for signs of its resurgence. It is no coincidence that he made his home in Mirkwood, near the lair of the necromancer. The role of the grey pilgrim Mithrandir is to be messenger and counselor, to seek out those who might fight against the shadow and bring them together. He is great in power and wisdom, but he is only second in the order. For the greatest of the 5 and the wisest is the one called Curunir, the man of skill. To him falls the heaviest duty. His role is to be captain and the general, to rally the free peoples and to direct them. He is to discern the thought of Sauron and counter it, to forge armies and shape alliances. He is Saruman, head of the Order of the Istari, leader of the White Council, the White Wizard, the chief adversary of the enemy in this last battle. If he fails in his task, there will be no more intervention from the Valar. He is the last hope for freedom and light in Middle-earth. Nearly 2,000 years have passed since the wizards first landed on the shores of Lindon. Nearly 2,000 years have passed since the White Wizard began his struggle with the Shadow. He has not yet fallen. Saruman's purpose in this age of the world is to be the main foe of the enemy, the general of the forces of good. While he might go out himself to gather those with the courage and strength of spirit to oppose Sauron, he generally prefers to employ agents, trusted helpers he sends across the land. In fact, Saruman considered Gandalf himself to be one such agent, albeit a somewhat wayward one. The hands of the White Wizard are most often found in the halls of kings and chieftains, or watching over the ancient strongholds and places of power of the enemy. Some among them are rangers, though he has relied on them less of late, as their current chieftain, a man named Aragorn, is too close a friend of the elves and Gandalf to be fully trusted. Now, where our adventure begins, late summer 2965 of the Third Age. The day has been long and close with heat, the last breath of summer lingering beneath a sky washed pale by the afternoon sun. The road toward Isengard winds through lonely country, stretches of tall grass bending in the wind, scattered copses of oak and ash, and distant hills lying blue upon the horizon. As the company crests a low rise, the smell reaches you first. Smoke. Not the welcoming scent of hearth fire or cooking meat, but the bitter stench of wet ash and burned timber carried upon the breeze. Below, nestled beside a small stream, lies the blackened ruin of a farmstead. What had once been a modest but sturdy home is now a skeleton of charred beams and collapsed thatch. The vegetable garden has been trampled into mud. A wagon lies overturned nearby, one wheel still slowly turning in the wind with a faint wooden creak. No animals cry out, no voices answer, only crows. Several dark shapes hop and flutter among the ruins, tearing at what remains. Now let me pull up a map. So we are here near the very bottom of the Misty Mountains. We are traveling through the Gap of Rohan towards Isengard. We have been sent to parley with Saruman, who has need of us. And shortly before we reach there, maybe 20 miles or so near the fords of Isen, we come across this ruined farmstead. Let me have Targon. Give me a roll. This is going to be a battle roll as you first survey the scenes of this ruined farmland.
Battle roll, okay.
So Targon, you came close. You missed it by 2. Maybe describe for me, what would Targon do when he sees this farmland? And first, it looks like this was no accident. This looks like this is probably intentional. Maybe give us a moment, just kind of describe Targon and what he would do when he arrives.
Okay, so Targon, he's a ranger of the north, so he has some skill in scanning and riddle. Now he sees the scene. He's of course alarmed by what he sees, and he remains cautious. So I would try to stand back, survey the scene, figure out what's going on here. If I can discern any clues beyond what we're seeing here, using his tracking skills perhaps, or maybe a riddle.
Yeah, as you stop and see this, maybe Adrahil comes up alongside you. And Adrahil, give me a scan roll as you confer with the other ranger. A Gandalf rune. That's an automatic success. So Adrahil, you see that a few things. As you draw up near Targon, you look out and you see this scene, and a couple things that really come into focus for you are things that are terrible to look upon. The bodies of a household lie scattered about. Now, you, Adrahil, you know this household. This is the household of a man named Sigulf. And Sigulf, if I can spell right, Sigulf is a Dunlanding man, a man from Dunland, and he's a simple farmer. And as you get close, you see the bodies of Sigulf's household scattered about the yard. There's the body of a man near the doorway, a wood axe still clutched in his hand, and beside him there is much blood on the ground. Near the well, there is the body of a woman, and another shape partially covered near the stable wall, and blood darkens the earth in great black patches, where the summer flies now gather thickly. Nothing here to the two of you suggests that this was a fair fight. This was a slaughter. And Adderhill, you recognize this at once. This is Sigulf's farm. And you know, with your success, that Sigulf had never been an easy man. The Dunlanding was suspicious of outsiders. He was sharp-tongued. He was slow to trust. But nevertheless, he observed the old laws of hospitality. Travelers who came peaceably were given bread, water, and shelter from the rain, though perhaps not without complaint. And Sigulf took no interest in the affairs of the wider world, preferring to tend to his sheep and live a quiet life. The shutters that Sigulf once barred so carefully now hang broken from their hinges. The door stands open, and beyond it yawns only darkness and the smell of smoke and death. The wind sifts softly through the ruined farmstead, carrying ash across the yard like drifting gray snow. Now, Adderhill, what would you say to Targon as the two rangers come across this first?
Well, this is a most unfortunate tragedy, but these lands are not known for their peaceful nature. I suppose that while it is unfortunate that it happened, it does not surprise me.
Yeah, these are hard lands for sure. And Targon, what would your response be to that?
Well, first, Adderhill, I think you said you know this man as we were coming up on his farmstead. I think this is a sorrowful occasion. Offer my condolences to you and your friend and his family. This is terrible. And I think that's the mood right now, as everybody's taking it in and somber.
Absolutely. Up next to the scene is Moriel, our elf. And Moriel, describe yourself for everyone as you come up and see what the Rangers are discussing up at the top of the hill.
So I am an elf of Mirkwood. So I spend a lot of time around nature, and I'd like to say I know most of the lands well. I travel out of Mirkwood quite a bit, and as I see this scene in front of me, obviously it's a very sad thing to witness, and I'll just ask if there's anything that we can do to help.
What would the Rangers say? Looking at this, is there any aid that can be rendered?
Well, it might be good if we were to lay their remains to rest, that they're not carrion for the birds.
Yes, I agree. And we're sure there are no survivors from
Let me
our initial look.
have Moriel make a scan roll.
Sure.
Great success. So you see the two Rangers begin to approach the bodies. You're a little more attentive than they were. You notice two things with a great success. First, you notice that there's no sign that the defenders of this farmstead were able to slay any attackers. You see no bodies of a foe, merely the household. But with that great success, that of the farmstead and small barn, only ashes remain. There is no sign of Sigulf's sheep. He would have had a flock here, and there's no sign. You see the pen, but there are no sheep here.
Were they taken by the attackers, Sigulf?
Was Sigulf taken by the attack?
No, were his sheep
the sheep.
taken?
You would presume that that's a possibility. Up next is Thaladir, and as you come up and you see Moriel looking at maybe over at the sheep pen, Thaladir, describe what we might see as you approach, and then I'm going to have you give me a hunting roll.
Well, Thaladir and his favorite horse dismounts and still like briefly scans the surrounding countryside, like if there is not some foe hiding in the trees, that whoever did this, that this is somewhat still safe location. But I guess something would have come up already. Well, yeah, that's probably what you would see, an elf in somewhat fancy clothing. For him, this is an unknown place. This is far too south for him
Oh yeah.
to wander. You were asking for a hunting roll.
Yeah, maybe you're looking for.
Can I offer you? Can I offer you awareness instead?
Yes, absolutely.
In these trying times, hunting would not go well. And
Absolutely.
maybe awareness won't go either.
Great success. So you discover some heavily trampled tracks, suggesting that at least some of the flock were driven up into the hills towards Dunland. And with an additional success, you find that an estimate that there were at least a dozen people here, all of them on foot. You see no horse tracks or other mount tracks, and there looks to be sign in some of the mud. It looks like someone had stumbled a few times. Maybe someone was taken prisoner. Someone might be missing. And then there's also some other tracks. These are big and heavy and deep. Maybe a very large man or a very heavy man. And that heads straight north up into the stony ground of the uplands. If you follow it for any time, after maybe 200 meters, you begin to lose it in the rocky path. The sunken mud footprints disappear, and you're not able to follow it. But it looks like either someone large or someone heavy fled here through another means, or perhaps they were scouting, or perhaps they came across this before you did, and that's the way they went. You can't quite judge the timing of this, but you see about a dozen footprints kind of heading north, maybe a little bit northwest, and then heading straight north into the hills, you see one heavy set of footprints.
Nothing like either sheep droppings?
No, you see sheep tracks, and there are some droppings. It looks like the flock may have been driven up into the hills towards Dunland on the west side of the Misty Mountains, and that looks like that's where the dozen or so men went as well.
Also, not even any blood splatter on the ground.
No blood splatters, but it does look like someone was maybe taken hostage. It looks like someone was stumbling and picked up and maybe dragged a few times through the mud.
Right, one of the rangers knew this family, if I recall correctly.
Adrihill
so
knew this family.
We should probably be able to count the bodies and see if we have everyone.
Yeah. As Adrihill and Targon are examining the wounded, and they are burnt and slain beyond any hope of healing. It looks like they've been dead for several days. Our last party member, Kalan here, you come up and crest the hill, and you see this scene, and you study it for a moment with the keen eye of an elf, and maybe describe for us what we would see if this were a movie and you come up the top of the hill, and then I'm going to have you give me a riddle roll as you try and piece together all of this information.
Yeah. Callan here's sort of a tall elf of Mirkwood. He's got whitish hair, and he's dressed in earthy browns and greens, and has an earthy green cloak, and he carries a big great bow and long sword, and yeah, so he starts looking at the whole scene, and he does a riddle roll, which he fails.
So it's hard to guess what this may have been. Your best guess is this was probably raiders from Dunland, came down, sacked the farmstead. This farm is kind of here by itself. It's isolated, lightly defended, and hungry men do evil things. And it looks to be nothing more than that. This was a raiding party, came down, took the flock, killed the family, and left.
There is still that set of heavy tracks. Maybe.
There is still a set of heavy tracks that did not go with the rest.
So one question I would have for Adrihill is if the family had any known enemies mean, we could rule that out. Otherwise, it's probably, like you said, a raging party and just bad luck.
I would still ask Adrahil if it is possible that one of the family or household members was taken hostage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Adrahil, give me a lore roll, and you're going to add a bonus die because you knew this family. And you search your brain. You're probably not super, familiar. Maybe you had stayed here a time or two. And, by 1 point, you get a success. So you know that they had a daughter. And this daughter, you don't see her body. And you look all over. You see Sigulf. You see Sigulf's wife. No sign of the daughter. The daughter's name was Gleodwyn, and I will type that out for us. And she was, the last time you saw her, she was a girl of maybe 9 or 10, and she's probably 14 or so now. Still very young, but you don't see her body.
Well, it would seem that their daughter. I remember a daughter living here with Sigrid. What was that? His name?
Sigulf. Yeah, his name was Sigulf.
Yes, with Sigulf, and I do not see their remains. It is possible they were taken by whoever attacked this farm. I know that Sigulf had many enemies. He was not the kindest of folk, but he was an honest man and a good man, I think. So I'm not sure who would seek to do something like this to his farm.
Now that we've all arrived and seen this scene of horror, this is going to be a shadow test for all of you. This is a dread roll. This is a valor roll. You'll take 2 points of shadow if you fail. If you get a success, that will reduce it by 1, and if you get 2 successes, you'll take no points of shadow. I'm going to say that Adrahil, you're risking 3 because you knew this family. So I'll have all of you make a valor roll, and you can spend hope on any of these rolls if you choose to. Ooh. And I need a roll from Adrahil.
Yes, could I use my leadership feature to become inspired as I try to keep a stern face?
Yep, absolutely. Because the others are going to look to you because you knew this family. And stiff upper lip and all that. And, okay, great success. So, everyone will take 2 points of shadow, and Adrahil, you will take 1 point of shadow. So if you open your character sheet, you can push the letter C, and it'll pop up. Down, kind of in the middle where it has resources, you're going to see endurance, load, hope, and shadow. Under temporary, put in the number that you just got. So 2 for everyone, but 1 for Adrahil. And Adrahil, passing that valor roll, you do manage to keep that grief, that sense of dread as having lost someone that you know, that he was a difficult man, but he had kindness in him. Do you turn that into a desire for vengeance, or what do you do with that sense of valor that you feel?
I think that it would be perhaps as a ranger my duty to seek out the assailants, as they might have captured his daughter, and to see them rescued. And it also would be likely the right thing to do to see that these bandits are not a threat to the other farmers that live in this land.
Now you have an appointment with Saruman. It's a couple days away to get to Isengard. If you follow those heavy tracks, they only go a short distance up into the hills, and you lose them in the gravel. The other tracks go a little further. It looks like you could probably follow them up into Dunland, which is just right up here on the left-hand side of the mountains. Do you keep your appointment with Saruman, or do you follow those tracks? Or do you even let Saruman know about this?
This is a group decision.
Yeah.
Right.
What exactly did our appointment with Saruman say? Like, are we supposed to arrive exactly at some day at some exact hour, or did he say
He did
arrive
say to
at time?
he said to come with haste.
I would think Saruman would understand, especially
Yeah,
if we have a girl that's kidnapped.
I would also
I think it's our duty.
Yeah.
1 or 2 days, I think we can spend
You
here.
can spare? Absolutely. So we're going to make this a skill endeavor. And let me put this in here. Following tracks. And because of the conditions, this is going to be laborious. I'm going to give us a short time period, which would be a couple of days. All right, so we need to get 6 successes, and we get 4 attempts. And so any of you can use any skill that you like, as long as it fits with the narrative of following these tracks. And then you'll make a skill roll, and if you get a success, we'll count it. If you get a great success or an extraordinary success, those count as additional successes. We just need to get 6 before 4 attempts have transpired. So who would like to go first?
I can do a travel roll.
You can do travel, absolutely.
And add a hope. Yeah. Refresh me on that.
Yeah, so if you want to add hope, you can do that. And then if we look at your distinctive features, you've got secretive. Maybe you're trying to be stealthy. You're not charging through shouting, "Hey, I got more tracks here!" But maybe you're thinking whoever did this could be nearby. Maybe you're being stealthy, or
Absolutely.
Or there's stern, which is we're going to find who did this. If
Right.
you want to do one of those, you can become inspired, and that will let you get 2 additional die instead of just 1.
Okay. I'll do inspired, but again, the mechanics of that I can roll, but what do I click?
Yeah, so if you click on the travel, and then
Right.
click, it'll pull up the second screen. Click on where it says Hope Point Bonus Die, and then it will pull up a second thing that says Inspired. Click on that so that it's darkened. And so under the roll characteristics, you should see is Inspired, and Hope Point Bonus should be highlighted.
Hope and bonus. Okay, got it.
Yep, and then go ahead and roll, and it will deduct that point of hope from you. Perfect. And you get a success. So that will count as 1 success. So I'm going to mark a success.
Thank you.
Excellent. So we've got 1 success. We need 5 more. We get 3 more attempts. Who wants to go next?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the weather like?
Good question. It is overcast. It's summertime. Normally it would be sunny and bright down here, but it is overcast today. And you know that that portends a storm, and that if these tracks are not followed soon, if it rains, good luck finding where these tracks lead. So time is kind of pressing.
Right. I ask, does that technically count as bad weather, being overcast?
Ooh, you know what? Yes, I'm going to say it is, because if it turns really bad, then that's going to directly affect the outcome of this.
Because I could do an explore, and then I have a sunstone which helps navigate in bad weather.
Excellent. So
With
that'll give you a
explore
plus
rolls.
1 die on that.
Yeah, so I could do an explore to help us follow the tracks.
Yes. So at the bottom where it has bonus penalty die, add 1 bonus die for using your traveling gear.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice, great success. That counts as 2 successes. Let me mark that. One thing I forgot to do, let me grab that real quick, is when we did our rolls earlier, our Valor roll, someone got an Eye of Sauron. And whenever that happens outside of combat, it raises what's called the Eye Awareness. So I'm going to click that now. It makes a little sound. and our eye awareness is now 4. It starts at 3 because of our party makeup. If it ever hits 16 in a single session, then there is what's called a hunt, where bad things will happen to us and calamity will befall us. But every session that will reset back down to 3. So as long as we don't hit the 16, in the last campaign I ran, the Moria campaign, I think we had it happen twice. And one time we absolutely got routed by a bunch of orcs, and then the last time the Balrog showed up. So we don't want these hunts to come into play if we can help it. So we have 3 successes. We need 3 more, and we get 2 more attempts. Who wants to go next? We followed the tracks for about a day.
Adriel would offer his hunting skill.
Excellent. Nice, automatic success. That counts as 1. Mark that on there. All right, we get 1 more attempt. We need 2 successes. Now, using your hunting skill, you see where this flock of sheep were led out to a pasture. You can see where it's cropped, and you can see the animal scat in the field. You know that they paused here for some time to feed these sheep, and then looks like they pushed them on with haste to the north. You're guessing, based on the dryness of the droppings, this is probably about 4 or 5 days old.
Well, I think that we are perhaps nearing where they're camped.
We need 1 more roll. This is the last attempt. This will either make or break the attempts to track this. Who wants to tackle that? No pressure at all.
Saladir does not think he is that good, but he will offer his support to whoever does this.
Excellent. So he's volunteering a point of hope. How about Moriel? Do you want to take a roll?
I could do an awareness roll.
Okay.
Maybe
you're looking for like campfires,
Yeah.
like smoke, up in the distance, or listening intently for the sound of sheep, because sheep are not quiet.
right. Okay. And is that like support from a companion?
Yeah, so click on support from a companion. Now, they are not your fellowship focus. I think you have chosen the fellowship focus, Adrahil, and Adrahil, I think, chose Moriel. So if any of you help one another, then you will get an additional die. Oh, so an automatic success with the Gandalf rune. All right, so in our 4 attempts, we ended up with 5 successes. So we missed it by 1. But we gather some good information. So if we started here near the Gap of Rohan, we followed these tracks up about this far. Now, those other tracks, they seem to lead into the hills. We could only follow them about that far. They didn't go far before we lost them in the hills. But these tracks, we lose them about this point right here. We're guessing they likely, I mean, they're not going to take these things all the way to, Tharbad, you wouldn't think. They're not following the road. If they were going up to Tharbad, they might follow the road. But maybe they have an encampment here nearby. Or maybe they were meeting someone and staying off the road, because these are stolen sheep. But the trail runs out here. Now, dismayed, you realize that you've done what you can for Sigulf and his family, but you do have this appointment at Isengard. And do you turn back dejected, vowing to return?
I
don't think we have practically other choice.
Yeah, at this point, you don't know if they've continued on forward. The weather has turned bad, and as rain begins to fall, the rangers and elves know that our opportunity is swiftly passing us by. But perhaps Saruman might know something of these things, or you can push on into the wilds and continue trying to follow this lead.
Well, I think that the tracks will do us little good in this rain, but perhaps if one of us were to climb one of these hills, we might peer out over the lands and spy them. A group this big would certainly be hard to go unnoticed.
Yeah, if one or two of you want to climb the hills and maybe get maybe an elf with better eyes, try and get a good vantage, I would allow that. It would take an athletics roll and then a scan roll to see what you could see.
Yes, Moriel, what do your elf eyes see?
So athletics and scan.
Yeah, it'd be athletics to climb up to get an elevated spot. Oh, almost a Gandalf rune.
No.
That was close. You missed it by 2. So you climb up a bit, but all you see are endless grasslands to the west and to the north. A few bits of forest, nothing like Fangorn, but or Mirkwood of your home. It's this is a small forest, but it's trees nonetheless. And you see no campfires. You see no flocks of sheep. You see no one on the road or no one in this area. It could be the bad weather keeping them at bay, but whatever the case, you're not able to get to a high enough point where you can see above those trees. Everything is just a sheer cliff face, and if you were to ascend any further, you might risk falling.
Maybe
You want me to have go?
Yeah, with more skill could have a go.
Let's give it a go.
Let's see if I remember how to do this. Okay, hope point.
Ooh, an Eye of Sauron. That's going to raise the
No.
eye awareness. As you climb up, you can't help but think, I am awfully exposed up here, and if there was bad folk around, they probably see me up here. As you scale that, you get a little higher than Moriel did, but even up here, that feeling, that uneasiness of maybe I'm the one being hunted now, begins to sink in.
Yeah. I got a bad feeling about this.
What does everyone else propose?
I don't think we have any other lead to go on here. I would turn towards the Iron Belt.
Well, perhaps there's one last thing I might wish to try before we abandon our quarry. I will, perhaps if I were to listen to the ground, I could hear the sheep in the distance and know which direction we might travel to find them.
I will allow that only because Aragorn does that trying to track orcs, and so I'm going to give you a penalty die, but make an awareness roll with a penalty die. Come on, Gandalf rune. Oh, no. So despite your best attempts, the muddy terrain, the sound of the falling rain, it just makes it too difficult to try and pick that out. But you listen and you try and still all of the thoughts and sounds in your mind and just focus on the vibration of sheep feet, but you're not able to pick up anything. It could be that they are no longer afoot. They may have been loaded into a wagon. They may have been slaughtered and feasted upon. They may have been taken somewhere and put in a corral. You don't know, but you don't hear the stamping feet of a flock of sheep.
Well, I think that they are lost to us for now. Perhaps we should head to our meeting. It's unwise to keep the White Wizard waiting, and perhaps he might offer us advice.
To Isengard. Now I'm going to put a marker just to kind of show... Oh, that's way too big. Let me fix that. Let me make that smaller so we know we're at Isengard. 1 second. There we go. So it takes us a couple of days to backtrack to Sigulf's farm, and then another couple of days to reach Isengard. And let me take us to a map of Isengard. The road to Isengard winds through green and rolling lands, and long before the great ring of stone comes into view, you become aware of a strange stillness in the air. Not silence, but the sense that this place stands apart from the cares of lesser folk. The birds sing here without fear. The grass is deep and emerald bright beneath the sun. Then at last you behold Isengard. The ancient circle wall rises black and smooth from the earth, vast beyond the works of mortal kings, wrought in forgotten days by the men of Westernesse. Within that mighty ring stands Orthanc, dark and gleaming like a spear of polished stone thrust upward from the heart of the world. Its pinnacles catch the sunlight, yet no mark of age nor weather mar its surface. But you are not brought immediately before the great tower. Instead, servants in white and deep green lead you through gardens of rare beauty, long terraces filled with flowering trees, herbs of strange fragrance, and pools where silver fish drift beneath lilies. Bright banners stir in the warm breeze. Somewhere nearby, water sings softly over stone. There, amidst the sunlight, stands Saruman the White. His robes shine brilliantly beneath the day's light, so white that they almost seem woven from the clouds themselves. Though tall and commanding, there is nothing harsh in his bearing. His dark eyes are keen, alive with intelligence, and when they settle upon each of you in turn, you each feel, if only for a fleeting instant, as though your every hidden grief, your every triumph, your every secret hope has been laid open and bare before him. Yet there is no cruelty in that gaze. Rather, it is the look of a teacher, long patient with the follies of the world. Saruman greets each of you by name. In his voice there is strength and greatness alike, deep and measured, carrying the weight of wisdom gathered over many lifetimes. My friends, welcome to Isengard. He speaks little at first, preferring instead to listen. He asks of distant lands and the roads traveled to reach this place, of troubles among the folk of Rohan, of whispers in Bree, of happenings in lonely villages, ruined watchtowers and forgotten wilds. Nothing seems too small for his interest. And as the discussion unfolds, silent servants bring forth maps inked upon crackling parchment, ancient scrolls bound in fading leather, and trays laden with fine foods, smoked meats, sharp cheeses, fresh-baked bread, grapes heavy with sweetness, and dark red wines from southern vineyards far beyond the knowledge of most men. Saruman himself eats sparingly. At times he makes observations so perceptive they unsettle the heart. To one of you he quietly remarks upon the burden of an oath long carried. To another he speaks kindly of a fear never voiced aloud. And to a third perhaps he mentions an old sorrow or hidden ambition as though discussing the weather. He's never accusing, he's never threatening, he is only understanding. At length, as the shadows slowly lengthen across the gardens, Saruman rises and folds his hands behind his back. His expression grows grave. My new friends, you have doubtless heard rumors of the ancient power, the Dark Lord Sauron, and the very name seems to dim the air. In ages past he was humbled by armies of Numenor, and conquered by an alliance of elves and men. Yet always he endured. Defeat drove him into shadow, but never into ruin. Now he has returned to Mordor, and there he gathers strength once more. Saruman walks slowly as he speaks, his white robes stirring softly among the flowers. The elder days are gone, the middle days are passing. A new age approaches swiftly, and whether it shall be an age of light or darkness rests upon a knife edge. He turns then, and his gaze falls upon the company. The enemy's designs are not yet complete. There remains a little time, precious time, before his doom is upon us. But time alone achieves nothing. We must prepare. You have courage, resourcefulness, wisdom enough to see what others overlook. Such qualities are rare. I would ask you to become my hands beyond these walls. Go where armies cannot. Learn what others fail to perceive. Strengthen those who may yet stand against the coming shadow. And for a moment, the weight of the years he carries seems to rest upon him. But then that sternness softens. Know also this. Isengard shall remain open to you. Whenever your roads bring you near, you shall find welcome here. Lodgings in the captain's house have been prepared for your comfort, and my servants will provide what aid they may. But for now, the tower, and he gestures far above, where Orthanc looms against the sky like an ancient sentinel, its dark windows revealing nothing. The tower is off limits. And for several heartbeats, Saruman is quiet, meditative and still, and then his bright eyes open. I have a task for you, he declares. Word has come to me that Crow Hall is troubled by a monster. Gorsad is chieftain there, a lord of the Dunlanding people. He is known to me. When he was a young man, I fostered him here in Isengard. Go to him and give what aid you can against this creature or whatever else troubles his court. One of Saruman's servants, a Dunlanding boy, hurries over with a rolled-up map at a signal from the wizard. Saruman spreads the map out, and the wind instantly calms when he glares at the mountain, and he points at the location of Crow Hall. Now, let me show you where Crow Hall is. You may have seen it on the other map, but I will point it out.
It seems we passed it when going down.
Yeah, you probably came past it. It's kind of tucked away, and curiously enough, this is kind of the direction that you follow that trail. Seem to be headed up towards Crow Hall. Now, seeing this boy here, let me have one of you, and I'll choose who, or I'll let you choose who does it. I'm going to have one of you make a lore roll as you see this Dunlanding boy that comes over to help. Who wants to make the lore roll?
So Targan can definitely do
Perfect.
that.
Excellent.
I'm
Rhymes
favored
of
in
lore,
that.
correct?
Yes, Rhymes of Lore.
So if you spend, you don't have to, if you spend a point of hope with Rhymes of Lore, you can become inspired.
I think I'm going to roll without it. I'm already favored.
Perfect. Excellent. A great success. So you know that Saruman has been fostering Dunlendings in an effort to civilize them and to foster good relations. In this area, the two main folk that are at one another's throats are the men of Rohan, the Rohirrim, and the Dunlendings. And he sees hope in the Dunlendings, and for this reason he has fostered them. In fact, it sounds like Gorsad, the chieftain of Crow Hall, when he was a young man, he was fostered here in Isengard. So this is not a recent practice, but perhaps this is a means of Saruman putting people in places of power that he trusts and that he knows will be valorous should the time come. Now, do any of you bring up the attack on Sigilf's household, as he's mentioning Crow Hall and this this monster that's troubling Crow Hall?
I think we would have brought it up even when apologizing for arriving late.
Yeah. Well, he says, the work of Dunlendings. They are violent and cruel, for they long lived under the shadow of the enemy. It is high time that Gorsad's heir comes to Isengard for a suitable education. Just as Gorsad was tutored in the virtues of rhetoric, philosophy, and history, so should the next leader of Crow Hall. Little by little, generation by generation, they can be led into the light. Have you any questions?
My lord, tell us more about Crow Hall and its people. What arguments should we tell them? Should we talk about if we want to convince them of this?
Crow Hall is an ancient fort. Its walls were first raised by men of Gondor, but it lay abandoned for centuries until the Dunlendings claimed it. It is named for the flocks of crows that nest nearby. My colleague Radagast says they are clever beasts. Some speak a few words of the common tongue. I would ask you to help Gorsad, because he is one of the more tractable of the Dunlanding chieftains, more amiable to the guiding hand of Isengard. And Saruman holds out his hand and clenches it into a fist. If strengthened, he may prove useful. This is an important matter to me. As my hands, I would see this done. In
What if
fact,
Gorsad asks for some favor instead? Can we promise anything on your behalf?
yes, in fact, and he will hand Thaladir a small silver box. And let's see, I got the picture. No, I think I have a picture of the box. You see it open for a brief moment. It contains coins and a bottle, and he shuts it and seals it with a wax seal. And he says, "Give this to Gorsad. It's a gift. You may hand it over freely, you may present it formally, or hold it back if Gorsad is uncooperative. He will know this comes from me, for it bears the white star." And he points at the top of the box, and there's a white star on the box.
My lord, have you heard of you mentioned that Gorsad's people are troubled by a monster. Can you imagine what kind of monster could even live in these mountains?
It has not been seen directly, only the traces of its passage. It has slain some of Gorsad's guards, and prowled outside the hall at night. The enemy has returned to Barad-dûr, and his power grows daily. All across the land, evil things are stirring.
Is there any chance it could have been a troll? I would not expect them to be this far south.
That is my inclination. I believe
Much
it
has
to
grown,
be
the power of the enemy, indeed.
Indeed. I fear this is but the first thrust of the spear, to test the resolve of men. I suspect a troll because these attacks happen at night. The beast has not been sighted during the day. In fact, it has not been sighted at all, only the destruction that it leaves behind.
We have seen tracks a bit too big for a man, although I would say too small for a troll, but maybe there is something to it.
And you would be correct. They were too small for a troll, but maybe a very large man. You are absolutely spot on there. And he says, "Did you follow those tracks?"
I must admit we could not follow them through the gravel and rocks. We failed at that.
Regretful. But it cannot be helped. Deliver this gift to Gorsad. See what you might be able to do to help the people of Crow Hall. And when you return, perhaps his heir will be amenable to spending time here with me, where I might tutor him.
Shall we persuade the heir to come with us?
If you
Or
feel
is it
that
enough
is...
to know that you've requested it?
If he will come with you, I would be grateful.
Okay. When shall we be off?
At first light.
Are we all agreed? At first light.
Rest from your journey tonight. Wash the mud from your boots and faces. Eat well. The road is perilous. Crow Hall is but 100 miles here as the crow flies. It will be much further on the ground.
Your hospitality is appreciated, Saruman.
And his eyebrows raise up. Indeed. Now, Saruman is now considered your patron. And so each patron offers certain things to the Fellowship. Saruman the White, what he offers is what's called the Voice of Wisdom. And so at the start of each adventuring phase, which is now, you choose 3 skills. And these will remain the same until the start of the next Fellowship phase, which could take 1 session or multiple sessions before we have another Fellowship phase. And so those 3 skills, I'll note them down in my notes. You can spend Fellowship points to obtain a magical success with the chosen skills. And then additionally, at the end of a council, you can spend a number of Fellowship points to add an equal number of successes to its outcome. So if you played in my other campaign, Balin lets you spend a Fellowship point to make an attack roll favored. This will be different. This one we choose 3 skills, and then they will stay the same until we have a Fellowship phase and can change it, basically representing that we are the hands of Saruman and that his reputation precedes us, and his aid from Isengard may be upon us. And we may feel as though the wizard has eyes upon us and empowers our very action. We can also spend those Fellowship points whenever we take a rest to replenish hope points. And so we can use them to refill our hope, or we can use them to get magical successes in any of these 3 skills. So the first thing we need to do is to decide what skills we want to set aside, as he is our patron now. So I'm going to make a note. And let's see, not here. I'm going to make a journal for all of us. Campaign journal. And I will make this visible. In fact, I'll make it, give everyone ownership of it so anyone can edit the campaign journal. I'm going to add a page. I'll just call it notes. And then anyone can, if you want to keep track of any notes, names, things like that, I'll add another page, and this will be patron benefits. And let me...
So we get 3.
Yep, we get 3 from him. So let me... what skills do we want to use for those 3? And you guys can all kind of decide together collectively.
Should we
Healing might
choose
be good.
one each from strength, heart, and wits, and split it that way?
It's a great idea.
Oh, what was the one
Yes.
that was mentioned?
I would agree that healing,
would,
heart.
would be good.
Healing.
I'm considering actually taking a magic success in riddle because we don't really have that much in the party, and it can help
Yeah.
us if we are stuck thinking.
Yeah,
I think
I was going to
that's-
say
riddle's
riddle's a
good.
good one too.
So healing, riddle, and what other one?
Perhaps awareness or hunting.
So one thing to consider. So we choose things that we will likely need. We need to have a
That'd be similar
council
to each
with.
other.
We need to have a council with Gorsad. He may not be open to like, hey guys, come on in. They've been attacked by a beast. We're going to have to try and win his favor. So we may want to choose something that may help us in a council, which Riddle can help with that. We could
Persuade
also
or courtesy.
persuade or courtesy would be a good one. Awe may also be a good one. Maybe he is impressed by our deeds and our stature more so than our kind words. Depends on what you think the sort of person Gorsad might be.
But
What
can we
about
not spend just the
insight?
fellowship points to just get successes from a council?
Yes,
really
you can
mechanical
also
perspective.
add them at the end of a council if you had to.
So perhaps
I'm
as
not
a
sure if that magical success would bring anything else in the council.
It would. So one thing, whenever you get a magical success, the other people know it's a magical success. It's like when Gandalf uses magic, say in the Fellowship of the Ring movie. When he is standing over Bilbo Baggins, and he looks really tall and imposing and the room darkens, something physically happened and Bilbo knows. And so if we use magic in a council or using one of these spells, Gorsad would know, they are servants of the wizard. The wizard's power is here, so it kind of adds a little provenance to us. But at the same time, other people may be very put off by that if they see that we are trying to enchant them or ensorcel them. So definitely want to take that into account. In fact, if we get if we use magic, a lot of times that raises our eye awareness as well.
So maybe as a man of the wild, he'd be most impressed by awe in the council. We have 3 elves, 2 rangers.
You want to do awe? Awe is a great one because that's one you can use to open the council, and that will dictate how many attempts you get to try and impress him.
Yeah, that would be good.
What do the elves think?
I know I can do all somewhat reasonably well myself.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not wrong. I would probably take courtesy. I don't know if anyone can do that.
Yeah, I can't do courtesy.
I have no courtesy on my list.
You put your elbows on the table when you eat, and
pretty much, yeah. Well, I lick my fingers.
well, they probably appreciate that. So
that might be true. Courtesy might go over their heads. I'm thinking the Dunlandans, they might be more impressed with awe or persuade.
I mean, we still can do the awe. I think it's all right. It's not the wrong choice.
And we do have elves that can get a magical success anyway without spending these points.
Right.
I think all of our elves have at least some either elven skill, or the Mirkwood elves have like from the dusk that if you're in the woods, I think you can get a magical success.
So riddle, healing, and awe. Is that right?
Everybody agree on that?
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sure.
So this is in the campaign journal under patron benefits, and then the notes section, that is for you guys to use. If you want to use it, if you click on it, there's a little on the right hand part, like where it says notes, if you go all the way across to the side, it'll highlight a little edit button, a pencil in a box. Click on that and you can type whatever you want, and just make sure you save it, and then those notes will be there. If multiple people have it opened and editing, I think it only saves one of them. So if you want to use it, maybe mention, hey, I'm in the journal, so no one else goes in and starts typing things. But otherwise, that will be there for your use. Perfect. So, did you pick up that box, Thaladir?
Yes.
Now, you just saw for a moment what's in there. It looked like coins in a bottle, but you didn't get a real good look at it. If you want to open that up, you can. If you can just break the seal. You don't know how well that might go over with both Saruman.
I am not breaking the seal.
A crafting roll might let you try to open that without breaking the seal. If you want to see what he's given, it would be a pity if it were a note that says the one who hands you this box, should die or something like that. You don't think Saruman would do that, but stranger things have
Quite
happened.
certain Saruman will know if that's opened.
Yeah, it's it's probably got some sort of magical alarm that would let him know, and that may not be the best way to kick off relations with our patron. So here on the map, the tower is off limits to us at present. We can stay here at the captain's house, this area over here. There's also beautiful gardens, grasses. There are old huts over here. There's a small lake, and then the very mountains come down right into the black stone circle. We spend the rest of the day here admiring the gardens, resting, recovering. We can all do a prolonged rest if no one has lost any endurance. This will also, resting here, if we had gained any fatigue, that will be gone. It's almost a magical sort of thing as we eat and rest here that our fatigue melts away. But if you want to recover any hope from the fellowship points, we have 6 points. They come as a 1-to-1, so if you want to recover 1 point of hope, now we have 5 as a party to split up. But you do those during rest. If you want to, you can click on like the prolonged rest. It's below your endurance on the character sheet, and it will ask if you want to spend any of those points. Or we can just save them in case we need successes. Or for our next rest, we can recover hope points. Anyone want to take any points from the fellowship pool? And that will refresh every session. We'll get another 6 points.
I personally probably wait for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only spent one hope, so I'm good.
Yeah, I think we're sitting pretty good. I think only one person is down 2 points. Everyone else is either down 1 or 0. So I think we're in a pretty good position. Saruman offers to equip you from his stores. If you need anything, this would give you a chance if you want to. I know we just started and you probably chose your traveling gear. If you want to swap out your traveling gear for something else, this would be an opportunity to do that. You can also, if you want to pick up any different sort of weapon. Now, he doesn't have like keen or cunning make armor, things like that. But if you wanted to pick up a dagger or a shield or something that you didn't already have, he would have that available here. If anyone wants anything like that, anyone want to pick anything up from his stores?
Adrihil will take a shield if it's offered.
Yeah, he does have shields. He's got bucklers, great shields, and regular shields.
A regular shield would suit him best.
Okay, I'll put that on your sheet. That does give you some extra load there. That will improve your parry score with the shield. It adds 2 to your parry, so enemies need to roll a 19 to hit you. But now your load is 21, so you take 5 points of endurance loss and you'll be weary. But you can always ditch your shield and things like that. Anyone else want anything? Helms, shields, weapons? Swap out your traveling gear.
I'm good.
Okay. And anytime you return, that will be available if you need to pick up something else. All right. When morning comes, Saruman is not there to see you off. One of his servants in a white robe comes down and tells you that the master is in his studies and wishes us all the best of luck, and he awaits our prompt and successful return. We head out the gate and we will head to Crowhall. So from here, the journey is going to take us down the Fords of Isen, through the Gap of Rohan, up along the same path that we essentially followed until we reach Crowhall up here. This will be a journey. So I'm going to take us to our journey page.
I had a quick question.
Yes. Yep. Go ahead.
Did that rest? Did we recover any of that shadow that we gained?
No. So you'll recover. You'll have a chance to do that at the end of a session if you've thoroughly thwarted the enemy. That shadow will stay with you. You'll likely, if you can recover the daughter that is presumably missing, that would be key to recovering that shadow.
Okay.
So let's go to our journey. Now, when we do journeys, we need to choose a guide. We need to choose a hunter, lookouts, and scouts. I'm going to just pull your tokens out here, and you can kind of put them where you think you want them to go. The guide will be rolling travel. The scouts roll explore, the lookouts roll awareness, and the hunters will roll hunting. So you can just move your token, over to whatever category you want it to be, and we will do some journeys. And we can have multiple people in a spot, and we'll just randomly choose, except for the guide. There can only be one guide. Everyone else, you can go wherever you like. Excellent. Okay, the first thing we need is we need a marching test. Our guide will roll travel. Now, if you succeed, the first event will occur 3 hexes away, and I have a map that shows how many hexes this is. And if you get 6s and it's a success, then it's 4 hexes away or 5 hexes away. And then I will choose a target for the event. We'll roll to see what the event is, and then take it from there. So we've got Targon is our guide. If you want to give us a travel roll. So that's a failure. So it happens 2 hexes away. So we get down kind of near where the farm was. Each hex is about a day. So we're about down where Sigilf's farm was. And let me roll to see who the target will be. It is our scout. Okay, so this will be Kalan here. I'm going to roll to see what the event is. We're going to take the better of these two. It's a 5. A mishap. So you need to make an explore roll. If you fail, it adds a day to the length of the journey and will gain some fatigue. Everyone will gain 2 fatigue, but then the scout will gain an additional point of fatigue if you fail this roll.
Is the weather still bad?
No, the weather has turned to much more pleasant. In fact, there are no clouds out. There's no shadows that you can see. It's almost blinding, which does make it difficult as you are looking around. You're grateful that you're not the lookouts, because it would be difficult to spot much in this brightness out here. But that also hinders your roll because of the weather. You can't use your stone.
Right.
Oh, Gandalf rune. Nice. Great success. So not only is there no additional fatigue, but we will we'll actually have something good will happen. Here's what happens that first night. You're making camp, and you're looking for a place to camp. Now there's the farmhouse. You definitely don't want to camp there. This is a scene of violence. It still smells like burnt wood and dead bodies and the flies and the blood and just the memories. There's no way you want to go use that burned out farmhouse. So you're looking for another suitable site. And as you are doing this, you see someone, and they have a small camp set up, and it's a youngish woman, and I've got a picture of them. And she is sat on a stump, and she has a small harp's instrument, dulcimer, in her hand. Did that post to everybody? Did you all see? Okay.
Yep.
She has a small dulcimer in her hands, and she is playing it, and you hear the sound, and so that's the first thing you hear is, hey, there's someone making music up here. And as you approach and get a look, you see this woman sat on a stump, and she is playing this tune. And she doesn't look at you, but she stops, and she says, "Well met, traveler. Come and sit a while, won't you? I am Kaelur. You are guests here in my camp." Kaelur. Now, with your great success, she looks very non-threatening. Does not have a weapon. She's just sat. She's got a small fire going, and there's a little pot on there, probably a little stew, maybe some soup or something in there. It smells good. It smells like she's cooking dinner. Do you entreat with her?
Before we do, I quietly remind everything that this is a place of bandit attacks, so this could be a trap.
Mm-hmm.
We want to scan or make an awareness roll to see if we want to be careful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Give me an awareness roll as you are just is someone gonna jump out? Is there a spot here where there could be guys with swords?
Yeah. Exactly.
Nice. There's spots where people could hide, but as you look, you don't think so. It's the shadows are starting to deepen as the sun is beginning to set, but you don't see any signs of other people. And you maybe purposely go and make a round around her campsite. You see no other tracks, just her, and she's got a small pack with her, and she laughs a little bit. She's like, "Oh, you are very safe here. Trust me. I am here to enhearten you on your journey, for I think I know where you go and who sent you. Come, sit and learn, won't you?"
I'd ask her, where do you come from, and why are you here all alone?
"I am a minstrel. I come from Wherever I set my foot last, I travel these lands, singing songs, bringing wisdom to those who are in darkness, watching those who need watching, helping those who need help. I am simply Kalor. I have stew enough for all of us.
Are we inclined to rest at our campsite and listen to our songs?
It's too dark for us to continue. I think we just camp up.
Yeah, you're not going to get far before you set your own camp, and how awkward would that be if your camp's like 100 meters from hers?
Hey,
like, we're going to go camp over there.
Yeah,
I
don't
think
know
so.
if
We
we're gonna eat
decide
our
to
food
camp here.
though.
We have our own supplies right
Yeah.
for now. We're fresh from Isengard.
Oh, so be it. More stew for me. And she ladles out herself a bowl of stew that she garnishes generously with herbs. Will none of you partake?
I will, at least from politeness, take a small sip, small taste.
Excellent. It's very good. It's very rustic. It's vegetable. There's no meat in here. Maybe some sort of bone broth, but there's no meat. Just vegetables and herbs and very fine seasoning. And some of these things you have maybe tasted in your travels. That some of these seasonings, like this sage, this comes from far to the west, and you know, rosemary, I've not seen that outside the Shire. And things like, she is well traveled, and she carries those provisions with her, and it shows in her food. There are but 5 of you? Or are some of you hidden, or do you all approach the camp? I was told there were 5.
Who told you?
A bird. I sing to the birds, and the birds sing to me.
Does this bird have a name?
They all have names, but they do not like most folk to know them, only the ones that they trust. This bird may come to trust you in time.
What else did the bird say?
The bird sang a song. I would like to sing it to you now. And her fingers began to pluck a melody from her harp. And let me tell you her song.
So at this point, we're all gathered around. I think we're out of hiding and gathered at the camp.
Yep. She says, in fact, I'll put this into the text. Let me just grab it. All right, that'll be in the text. She says, when Hammerhand was king, men came down from Dunland and crossed the Isen, and corsairs from the south landed in both the west and east and came over the mountains. Edoras was captured, and the Dunlanding wolf claimed the great hall of Meduseld. Helm and his faithful retreated to the fortress of the Hornburg, but those were also the times of the long winter, and for 5 months the green grass was hidden by snow. Helm grew strange and fey, and it is said of him that he walked abroad by night, the frost shining in his hair and beard, and slew Dunlendings with his bare hands. One night Helm went out from the Hornburg and did not return. When morning came, he was found standing on the dike, dead yet unbowed. It was Helm's sister son who slew Wulf and retook Meduseld, and drove the Dunlendings and the corsairs from the land. And he became king thereafter, first of the second line. And Helm, it is said that his wraith still guards Rohan, and that his horn sounds in the valley of Helm's Deep whenever danger threatens. After singing, Kalor leans back slightly, her expression thoughtful. They say that the Dunlendings have their own songs of Helm Hammerhand, but in their tales Helm is no mighty king of Rohan. No, they speak of him as a terrible beast, a monstrous figure as vast and ravenous as a snow troll, driven by hunger and rage. Their songs paint him as a creature of fear and fury, more monster than man. And there are tales that Wulf, yes, Wulf the Dunlending, had a rightful claim to the throne of Rohan. It is said he descends from Helm's grandsire, Freywine, and that Wulf's own son was married to Helm's daughter. So some claim that Wulf was not an invader, but a contender born of the bloodline, one who believed he had a right to rule. Her eyes flicker with a mix of curiosity and challenge. Even more, some hold that Helm himself struck the first blow in their long struggle. But who is to say which tales hold more truth? Are the stories of Helm as a mighty king to be trusted, or are myths spun to serve those in power? Now I am going to give us a song. This will show up in, if you go to items, there will be a folder called songs, and this is the Lay of Helm Hammerhand. So this is a song of victory. Now anyone can sing this in combat, the song of the Lay of Helm Hammerhand, and if anyone is weary, it negates the weariness for the length of the combat. So this is a very useful thing that we have. This Lay of Helm Hammerhand is all about Helm being a great warrior and a great king, and will hopefully inspire us in an hour of grave misfortune should we become weary in combat. So we now have access to the Lay of Helm Hammerhand. When she finishes her song, she pauses and she looks at each one of you and says, "Tell me, what do you think of Helm and Wulf?" And she looks specifically at Cullen here.
Well, I don't really know. It's true that history's written by the victors, and I wasn't there myself, so I suppose I can't really say. I don't know what story to believe.
You speak wisely. It is the victors that record history. But the stories persist, even amongst those who are defeated. You are in the land of the Dunlendings. It would be wise to remember that. Now, enough song, enough talk. Let us eat our meal and rest this fine night.
Before we actually call it, can I, like, just for role-playing purposes, ask if she has any songs to share? Like, as I am something of an amateur minstrel, at least my
Ooh.
character.
Yeah.
And if she, like, no in-game effect, just so that I know some more songs from Offlands.
Yeah, give me a song roll as she begins to ask you what songs you know, and you give off a list of songs, the Bartered Bride and other songs.
Yeah, that sounds like I should not apply the useful item of a lute for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just for me. Can I apply it?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe you play a few lines, and her eyes light up. Oh yes, I see that you are very much like me. You collect these as others might collect artifacts of war or books, but you collect the oral traditions, the songs. That is how knowledge was spread before books ever existed in this land. Before wisdom was written down, it was passed down from one to another through words and music. And she will teach you a song this night. And I'll let you come up with the song. It can be one of the three types. There is a song that helps you in council. There's songs that help you in battle, which we now have one, and there's songs that help you in travel. So that's something I will let you come up with something that she will teach you for that, and we'll be able to use that. Very well done.
Like, as a player, I'm really more just for fun, more or less. So I'm looking for a song that is from exotic location. So let's say she has something from actual south, something from Umbar or something like that.
Yep, and the music is very strange. In fact, she tunes her harp, her dulcimer down, and as she plays it, it sounds a little dissonant at first, and the timing, the rhythm, the meter, everything is off of what you're used to. But you sense the movement of the music and the beat, and as she begins to sing this song, it's a sad lament, and those feelings are the same from culture to culture. Sadness is something that is universal to all, and you feel much as the ancient Greeks would do their plays for ultimately to give everyone catharsis, so that everyone could release whatever pent up emotions they had, be it sadness or grief or whatnot. That's why they would go to the plays, was to have that cathartic moment. And these songs are similar for you. And hearing this song, you have that moment of catharsis. And Thaladir, I'm going to let you remove a point of shadow.
Oh, very nice. Thank you. Fine song.
A very fine song. To the rest of you, if you're not predisposed to music, if you're not a minstrel sort, it sounds like a little bit of dissonance. And maybe some of you that are more alert and aware, thinking we shouldn't be playing music out here at night. We're going to attract everything with a sword is going to come and pick on the easy prey here. Maybe it makes you a little uneasy about this, but Kaylor doesn't seem to mind at all. She's not bothered at all by it. Anyone else want to entreat with her at all before we roll into the next day? Is anyone keeping watch at night?
I assume we do. If nobody else, then Thaladir will do it.
Okay.
I was going to say Callan here could be good because he's actually got Folk of the Dusk cultural
perfect.
blessing, so he's good at being in the dark.
Perfect. Does Callan here? Do you want to take this one? Maybe an awareness roll.
Sure.
Nice. Excellent. The evening passes uneventfully. There are no bandits that come by at night. A few animals come by. Deer come down very near to the camp, as though drawn by the music and drawn by the campsite itself, which you would think they would stay clear, but they seem very comfortable here around Kaylor. And as an elf, this is always a joyous sight to see nature coming so close to you, to where you feel that kinship with nature. And the night passes uneventfully. Does anyone want to refill hope from the fellowship pool before the next morning? Okay, we're at 90 minutes. Let's go ahead and take our break. When we get back, we will finish our journey to Crow Hall. So let's take about an 8-minute break, and I will see you all in, 8 minutes.
Dexterity, 17 for strength, fate is unspoken. Hero roll of the dice and my fate is unspoken. I locate the lair, but it doesn't make much sense to me. I think that the DM might be out to get me. A hero in armor and truth, bards tell my legacy. The flame of my torch illuminates the enemy. I win in a battle, you win foes asunder. Deeper I venture, the deeper I wonder. The bodies pile up before me, the corpses I plunder. The deeper I venture, the deeper I wonder. Crafted from numbers on living paper. I skip from the mundane to immutable paper. And while in real life, my fate is unspoken. Hero roll of the dice and my fate is unspoken. I drink my last potion. I charge through the open gate. The flame of the dragon tried to seal my awful fate. With a handful of dice, 5 times I roll 20. The dragon goes down, the DM no bloody. I leave with the princess, a satchel chock full of gold. We head to the tavern, where my mighty tale unfolds. Crafted from numbers on living paper. I skip from the mundane to a naval caper. While in real life, my fate is unspoken. Hero roll of the dice and my fate is unspoken. The king honored me with a mighty crossbow. It's blessed by the elves, he said. I thank him and I go. The life of a hero, struggling to stay alive. It's what
Hi, everybody. I am back. Go ahead and sound off if you're here.
Here.
Excellent.
Argon's here.
I am here.
There's 3.
I'm here.
There's 4. And I know that Moriel's here. She's sitting next to me, so that makes it easy. So let's jump back into the action. So we are still on our way on our journey. When we wake up that morning, the minstrel is gone. Kaler has packed up her things and has left. And for Callan here, who is keeping watch, it's almost as if you were wandering around the camp thinking about the wonderful night and the stars that were overhead and recounting stories of those stars told to you by your parents. And you turn back and Callan here is already gone. And there is no sign of her having been there other than the remnants of her fire and a few bits of stamped grass where she was sat and where her footprints led around the fire. But at some point in the night she seemed to have slipped away. Even your elf eyes couldn't detect that. And you wonder for a moment if this was not the work of wizards.
Yes.
And I'm going to have Callan here. This is going to be a wisdom roll against sorcery. You wonder if this was wizard. So give me a wisdom roll.
Yes. I wonder who she serves to. Oh. Failure.
Failure. So you will take 1 point of shadow. As you realize, I was supposed to be keeping watch, and under my very nose, she disappeared.
Yep.
And you wondered, if this is a wizard, does she work for wizards we know, or does she work for a necromancer?
Right.
Regardless, when the rest of the camp awakens, you report that Kaler is gone, and the others likely assume you saw her leave, and so perhaps they think nothing of it, but regardless, it's time to carry on our journey. So we need our guide to make another travel roll. Great success. So we go 4 hexes that way. So we have gone 6 hexes. We actually travel quite a bit. We go past, kind of up to where we had followed the sheep tracks. We get up to about that point before we have our next event. So 4 days of travel before something curious befalls us. And let's see who the target will be. It is our lookouts. And so I'm going to randomly choose a lookout here. This game has a coin that we can flip, and it's going to be either Moriel or Thaladir. We'll see who the target is. The target is Thaladir. So let me roll to see what the encounter is. Now this constitutes Darkland. This is an area that is relatively harsh because this is Dunland, and these guys are often thought of as raiders, and we've seen evidence of such things. So we're going to roll 2 dice and take the worst of these 2 rolls. Oh, sadly, it wasn't the Gandalf rune, which would have been lovely. It's despair. And so, Thaladir, you need to make a awareness roll, or everyone in the company will gain a point of shadow. You'll have a chance to make a valor roll to overcome it, and we'll gain some fatigue. Let's say that as you are traveling, you spot something up ahead. It looks like a bunch of crows they're on something on the ground, and you worry this could be something fell, perhaps another body. Give me that awareness roll as you see if you spot this before the party comes upon it. Oh, nice. Gandalf rune. So a great success. So no one needs to make a shadow test. Yeah, it looks like there's a body up on the ground, and it's being pecked by crows, Thaladir.
As a player now, I'm considering if I'm too insane to actually try to speak to the crows.
Yeah, you could definitely make that attempt.
I am making executive decision that Thaladir is not that much of an outdoorsy animal person, other than horses.
Yeah,
So he probably does not know how to talk to crows.
perfect. Do you try to frighten them off so you can see what that is, or do you guide the party around this?
I am curious what happened to the body, and I assume that the crows cannot really harm me or even fight me over access to the body.
Yeah, they would
So
likely
I-
make way for you. As
I-
you get closer, it's a man, and it looks to be a bit of an older man, and he's dressed in leather clothes, almost like buckskin, deer hide clothes. They're very worn. There's patches where rips and tears have happened. These clothes are probably years old. He looks, from what you can see, pretty emaciated. He's got a scraggly salt and pepper, black and gray beard. His eyes have been pecked clean. That was one of the first things that the crows went for. But even from here, you can tell that that a great tearing wound to his chest is what did him in. His rib cage is opened up. Heart and lungs have been eaten out or removed. This was likely the cause of death because he is just draped in blood. Whatever did this did it suddenly, and his death was most likely very violent.
That doesn't sound to me like it would be a work of human bandits.
Does not look like human bandits. No, this looks like some sort of beast would have done this. Perhaps a large bear, or something like that. If you want to make a hunting roll, you can look for tracks or signs of some sort of predator that may have done this.
I, at best, alert the party to this and let them decide what to do with this.
I'll say, in fact, our hunter probably comes up first. That is Adrahil. As you step up and see what Thaladir is looking at, what would your reaction be?
Well, I would likely agree that this is no work of another man. This is likely a beast that killed this traveler.
You want to give me a hunting roll as you look for tracks? Ooh, an Eye of Sauron. But we're going to take the 2 because that is your favorite in that. That still counts as a fail, but thankfully it doesn't raise the eye awareness. You see a lot of tracks here, and it looks like there was a great scuffle. Perhaps this man fought back. You can't tell. His body is pretty broken and pecked clean to tell if he had any other wounds upon him. His hands are very calloused, and knuckles are somewhat enlarged and gnarled. He had arthritis. This was an older sort of man, and you don't see any tracks of bears, no paw prints with claws or anything like that. You do see some larger prints, and these look about like the big prints that you saw back at the camp, but you're not sure. Could it be the same? It's been several days, it's been over a week. Hard to say if that was the same thing.
Yes, I think that likely this trail would be difficult to follow with the rains having washed away much of whatever might have remained. I think that our chances of discovering what might have done this are rather slim.
We press on. I need one more travel roll. If we get a success, we will arrive at Crow Hall. If not, we'll have one more event before we do so.
So we're moving past the body. There's nothing else we can.
Yeah. Does anyone want to
learn
do? In fact, does anyone want to do anything? Do you want to bury this person? Give them? Any
Yeah, I
sort
think
of...
at least the very rudimentary, but we should bury it.
The grounds are soft, so it's easy to dig, and you take some time. I assume it'd be a relatively shallow grave, but you would hope that if the worst befell you, someone would return your remains to the earth, and so you afford this grace here. Now, in game terms, this helps you to avoid a misdeed. So you definitely want to do things like this. Otherwise, I would count that as a misdeed to see a dead body and just, well, just leave him to the crows. Now, you do right by this man and prepare a grave. Does anyone search his pockets, anything like that? Do you loot the body, for lack of a better term? How respectful are you to this person?
I think we offered as much respect as we can and not do that. Considering how grisly his death was, I think it's better to put him to rest.
Yeah. And does anyone say anything over the grave? This is clearly a Dunlanding, probably a man of the woods. Perhaps the elves would be better suited to offer any sort of words of comfort to this man's spirit.
I'll just say something like, go back to the earth and be at peace.
Give me an enhearten roll. Okay, as long as you didn't get an Eye of Sauron, that's okay. So you do your best. You kind of fumble over the words for this, and the best you can ask or hope is that he can have that peace, because it looks as though his last moments were not peaceful at all. And leaving this behind, you continue on your way to Crow Hall, knowing that now this is the second scene of trauma that you've encountered, and you wonder what lies ahead. Let's have that travel roll. And we will have one more event. The target will be our scout. And so this will be an explorer roll. Let me see what the event will be. We'll take the worst of... Whoop, sorry. Try that again. We'll take the worst of all of those. Now, the worst of these two is going to be, we got a 9 and an 8. So we will take the 8, which is the same thing. It's a shortcut. So this will actually be super helpful. So if our scout, Kellen here, can succeed on this explorer roll, we will shave a day off of this. And that will help us to not gain quite so much fatigue.
How's the weather looking today?
It's actually it's starting to cloud up again. You see that as we head north, almost as though finding that body and perhaps that those words spoken by Moriel, it almost invoked a somberness, not only over the group, but over the very weather itself, as though nature has answered. So that'll help you use your item.
My stone. Okay.
Excellent. Great success. Very good. So you do manage to find this shortcut. So I have got our journey logged. It's in the items. There's going to be journey logs. You'll see journey log 1. This is our journey. It takes us 9 days. Ignore the map. That's totally incorrect. I'll likely update that. But we have gained 5 points of fatigue on our journey. So now we have a chance to try to mitigate some of that fatigue. So only one of us has a horse, and that is Thaladir has a horse. And so his will automatically be reduced by 2 for the vigor rating of his horse. The one nice thing that the rangers, they don't have now, but that you can get, is it lets you ignore all fatigue from journeying. It's one of the virtues I think you can pick up. But now everyone can make a travel roll, and if you succeed, you'll reduce your fatigue by 1. If you get a great success, it's reduced by 2. Extraordinary success, reduced by 3, and so on. So I'll have each of you make that travel roll.
Wait, what? Did I just succeed? What?
You got a great success, not just success. So I think Thaladir was the only one to succeed, and you'll take 2 off of there. Okay, so Everyone will take 5 points of fatigue, except for Thaladir. You will take 2 points of fatigue. So if you open your character sheet, it's by your load. You'll see under resources there's endurance, and then load, and then the small diamond it says fatigue. Everyone put 5, but Thaladir will put 2. Now this increases your load. In fact, I think this might make one of us weary. It's going to be close. And then you remove fatigue by staying in a safe place for a night. You'll lose 1 point of fatigue for every night of that. Now, out on the road, that's not a safe place. But in Crow Hall could presumably be a safe place. So every night spent there, you'll be able to reduce some of this fatigue. Does anyone need help adding the fatigue onto their load? Perfect. All right, we arrive. Let me get a map here. At Crow Hall. Now, as you are arriving at Crow Hall, you recall your evening with Kalor, that night around the fire. Now, in addition to the song, you chatted a bit about the weather and things going on in the land. And did you happen to mention to her why or where you were going, what you were doing?
I think we did explicitly say that we are coming from Isengard.
Yes.
But I don't think we said where are we going. But she did say she probably knows, and I'm suspecting she did.
Yeah, so you recall part of that conversation. She tells you that you will find little welcome in Dunland, but that Gorsad of Crow Hall is more hospitable than most. And she tells you that Gorsad is chieftain at Crow Hall. He's known for wit and wisdom, and in his youth he was a skilled warrior, but in recent years he's suffered from various indignities and infirmities, and is old before his time. He has a son, and his son's name is Tuirlus. I'll type that in there. Tuirlus is his heir. He lacks his father's polish, and he's quick to take offense at any slight, and she warns you, be wary of Tuirlus. He has a daughter as well, and her name is Vila. And Vila is very young, and she tells you that she's not of age. Now, the other prominent figures in Crow Hall are Dunrak and Dunwalla. Dunrak is the chieftain's guard. He's the main soldier there in Crow Hall. And Dunwalla, his sister, is said to be a witch. They are cousins of Gorsad. And if Tuirlus perishes without an heir, it will be Dunrak who will inherit the chieftainship, or at best he'll lay claim to it. She tells you the Dunlendings have various rights of challenge, so the lordship does not always pass smoothly to the next heir. And she tells you that beyond the intrigue in the council chamber, she says that Crow Hall is stout-walled and well-situated. It's a good place to rest.
Out of curiosity, I don't suspect this will work, but have we found anything of the traces that we lost earlier, and they were heading almost in this direction? I suspect we haven't seen anything. It was a long time.
Yep, as you get close here at Crow Hall, you can see that the entirety of the area here at Crow Hall is behind a palisade. And you can hear the braying of sheep behind there. It sounds like there's a lot of sheep here at Crow Hall, and they've whether these were their sheep or these sheep have been brought here, you don't know. But there are signs of a lot of sheep here at Crow Hall. You also notice that that's all you hear. You don't hear pigs. You don't hear chickens. You don't hear cows or anything like that. Goats, it's just sheep. And there are other pens that are empty that should have animals there, but there's nothing at all. As you approach, one of the first things you hear is the sound of the crows. There are crows in all the trees and all the ramparts along the palisade as well. Even in its diminished state, Crow Hall is a fortress worthy of note. Men of the South Kingdom built it as an outpost to watch over the road more than 2,000 years ago. The roof is mostly thatch. The windows are bricked up and parts have crumbled. The palisade of sharpened stakes guards the outer ring of the fort, and crows perch there picking at the carcasses of enemies impaled upon those stakes. Thousands more crows roost next in the gloomy pines around the fort. You could not sneak up on Crow Hall unannounced, for the birds start cawing and croaking as soon as they see you. Now Dunlanding warriors come out as you approach. They challenge you, and they are led by a man. Let me post his picture. Long mustached, hair pulled back into a ponytail. And he says, "I demand to know your business. What do you bring to Crow Hall?" And you notice that he has an axe in his hand. "If your answers do not please me, the birds will eat well this evening."
Take heart, friend. We bring word from the White Wizard of Isengard.
He scowls. "I will permit you to pass. However, we expect tribute, a gift. If you would enter our halls, you would show us the hospitality of a good guest, if we are to show you the hospitality of a good host."
Well, these forests are ripe with game. Perhaps I could find a deer for you. Venison is valued in these parts. Certainly that would prove a worthy gift for your halls.
And the men assembled begin to erupt in laughter. "Ha ha, dear," he says, "as though there were any game left in these woods. I'm afraid, good hunter, you'll find no such game here. These lands have been picked clean. These are not good times here at Crow Hall."
We do have that chest from Saruman.
Yeah.
Do you give it
Yeah,
to
but
this man?
That
No.
that
Not
I
to
think
him.
that's
Not intended for him.
What is your name, good sir?
I am Dunrock, captain of the guard. What is your name?
Callan here. We do have tribute, but it is for the master of the hall and only him.
I demand you hand it over to me, and I will convey it to the chieftain.
I cannot do that. We have to give it to
afraid you
him
cannot.
directly.
Give me a good reason why I should allow you to enter then, if you would insult me here at the very steps of Crow Hall.
I think it's in our best interest to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. Right here in front of your halls. I think it's better if we have discussions with your master.
Give me a courtesy roll, Targon.
I will. I might need help on this one. Because I have...
So does someone want to offer help, or you could also spend hope? If you have...
hope. I have
let's see.
I can do a hope.
Yeah, you've got...
I'm
you've
inspired
got
in anyhow.
stern, so you can become inspired with your sternness. You're not cowing to him, but you're telling him, we have urgent business. This is not the place for quarreling.
So with that,
So if
how
you
do I become inspired?
So if you, on the little pop-up screen, you'll select the hope point bonus, and then it will offer you inspired. Click on that so it becomes dark, and then that will be
Okay, got it.
inspired. Oh, just missed. He mulls your offer and says, "I'll not present anything to Gorsad until it has been inspected. There are assassins known to be about. As his master of the hall, surely you understand the need for protection and for discretion. Hand me the box and you may walk with me to the hall, but I will hand it to the king only after I have inspected its contents."
Seems like a fair compromise.
I agree. Okay. Please know we mean no disrespect to the Rock. We agree to your terms.
Very good. Then come. Welcome to Crow Hall. And he leads you inside, and as he does, he mentions to you, "It is forbidden by ancient tradition to harm the crows of Crow Hall, and any stranger who troubles the crows will answer to me." And he fixes you all with a gaze, as though to say, "Go ahead and try me."
Understood.
Let's go inside Crow Hall. Dunrock takes his place near the hearth, and there you see Gorsad Crowlord. I'll post a picture of Gorsad. These are a little blurry. These are taken straight from the book. There's no high resolution scans, so we kind of had to do our best. But it'll do. It'll do. When you enter, let me get the crows going again. When you enter, Gorsad begins to rise from his chair, and he calls out in a bold voice, "Ellen Sila Lumen Omentielvo," which the elves among you would know. That's Quenya for "A star shines upon the hour of our meeting." And you see as he goes to get up, he winces as he says these words in Elvish, and then he quickly sits back down. And let me have one of our rangers, let me have you make a healing roll. And I'll let you decide who wants to do that.
Two proficiency, I
Adriel
might be able to do that.
Adriel has 2 diamonds in healing.
Why don't you make the roll since I made the last one?
All right. Well, you're not sure what ails him. You would guess, excuse me, it is either his back or perhaps his knee, his lower extremity. He looks in physical discomfort. And he gets back down and he raises a hand as Dunrock comes over and he says, No, I'm fine. I'm as strong as the day I was born. Now, tell me.
I assume, does Dunrock actually hand over the box?
No, in fact, give me a scan roll.
I hope there is someone brighter-eyed than I am.
Oh, yeah.
You're awed by the glamorous fixtures of the hall.
I mean, speaking Quenya is damn impressive.
It is, yeah. You're like, oh, this guy knows my language.
I speak Sindar. Even I don't speak Quenya fluently. Yeah, I speak only Sindar.
Sindar, yeah. But he clearly has some, and you did hear that Gorsad has been trained by Saruman, and so it's likely that this was maybe part of his training. You would not expect for a wild man of Dunland to have such culture, yet here he is. And perhaps this is why Saruman likes him in this position of power, of rulership. Let me have our other elves Let me have Cullen here and Moriel make a scan roll as well as we come in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, upon hearing him say that, I might have repeated the phrase back to him.
And he hears you say it, and you get a sense that he does not speak Elvish. He just knows that phrase.
Right.
He kind of waves a hand. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Moriel, with a great success, you see that Dunrock opens the box. He takes it over to a small table. You hear him crack the wax seal. He opens the box. He looks in it. You hear him running his fingers through the coins, checking inside the box. He pulls out the bottle, and then he turns, and you see him close the box, but with a great success, the bottle is not in the box. He shuts the box and says, "My king, a gift that they bring you, tribute from Isengard." And he shows the box to Gorsad, and he eagerly takes it in his hands, opens it up. "Ah, yes, this is fine." And then he kind of sifts through the coins. "A pity, a pity." And he hands the box back.
Yes, so our gift should contain some coins and a bottle from our patron.
Ooh, you say that out loud.
Yep.
Okay. "Yes, I was hoping for such. The bottle is dear to me." And Dunrock looks you in the eye and says, "There was no bottle in the box. Perhaps you are mistaken."
Oh, there was definitely a bottle.
"Are you saying that you pilfered this gift from Saruman?"
No, there was a bottle in there when we gave it to you.
"My lord, they are mistaken." And he looks to all of you and looks at Dunrock. If he says so, I only hope that another gift may be forthcoming soon. Perhaps Saruman will bring something in the next few days. I feel it urgent that I have this." And let me have Moriel give me an insight roll.
I'm gonna use hope.
Oh, missed it. But you see a small smile cross Dunrock's face, as though he knows that you know that there was a bottle in there, and he doesn't seem to be bothered at all in lying to Gorsad.
Yes, it would be a shame if someone were to lie about taking the gift of a wizard. As you know, I'm sure a wizard would know.
A wizard would certainly know. He'll know what happened to that bottle, if indeed there ever was a bottle. I suspect that perhaps it fell out upon the road, sire.
Yes, and I
Nonsense. The box was sealed.
Anyone could craft a seal with wax. All it would take is someone to pry the bottom off of this box, take out the contents, and nail it back shut.
Seems we're at an impasse.
But enough talk, enough talk. And Gorsad raises his hand and says, "Let us counsel." And we will have a council. So let me get this set up. This is with Gorsad. Okay, so the first thing we do, in fact, I'll take us to our council page so you can refresh yourselves on the council rules. We need to have an introduction. And so I'm going to set the resistance of the council, and that is set by the situations here. So the council will have a... you have declared yourselves as emissaries of Saruman, so the resistance will be reasonable. So we only need 3 successes, so it should be relatively easy. Now we need to have the introduction. So one of you, you'll be the spokesperson. You'll make either an awe, courtesy, or riddle roll. This will determine how many attempts we get to try and get those 3 successes. And again, this is something that we can use the patron bonus from Saruman. We can spend those fellowship points to add any successes we need. So we will pass this, but whether we need to dip into our pool of points, is up for grabs. So who wants to be the spokesperson for this meeting with Gorsad?
Faladir has an idea for an all opener, but not that much later.
Now, you would suspect, if you want to use awe, that these are fighting men, and awe would probably serve you better than courtesy or riddle. Courtesy would probably fall flat here. Riddle, if he's the sort that likes stories and tales, perhaps a riddle might be a way to lead him into this, much like in The Hobbit, they got Beorn to let them all stay there. That would be a riddle. You know that if you try to use something that wouldn't land well with him, I'll give you a penalty die on this roll. I won't tell you which one of those three is the best or which one's the worst, but some will be better than others.
Right. My idea, that, however, for awe is not really impress them on my fighting skills. I am trying to more apply to my own, actually lordly, distinctive feature, and I am trying to position our party as Saruman's emissaries as bringers of sophistication and wisdom, and good lineage, and hopefully even better relationship with their neighbors. I'm trying to show we are sophisticated and noble.
Now, I absolutely love that. Knowing that he has spent time with Saruman and speaking Quenya to you, that's going to land well with him, and that would be an excellent approach. In fact, if you do that, I'm going to give you a bonus die to your awe roll.
I agree. And it still shows we mean business as well.
Yeah. Nice. So the time limit will be 4. So we have 4 attempts. We need 3 successes. Now, if we fail this will end in a disaster, which will affect all of the relations going forward. If we succeed, we'll have a good success. If we match it, if we get 4 attempts or 3 successes in 4 attempts, we'll either succeed or there may be success with woe, where he may entreat with us, but maybe he's distrustful. So councils are kind of fun little mini games in here. So anyone can now interact, and this is going to be something like in Hearten, Insight, Persuade, Riddle, Song. He might also be moved by battle, talking about your exploits, things like that. So I will let whoever wants to speak up, and I'll actually let you kind of say what you say, and if it's impressive, I may give you a bonus die on this. Who wants to go first?
Can you remind us on our intent with him as well? I know his son we want to bring back, but also to help learn more about the beast. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yep. So the whole point of us coming here is to find out about this beast that is laid siege to Crow Hall. It sounds like Saruman likes Gorsad being in power, and he would like his son, Tuirlus, to succeed him, but he wants to try and mold Tuirlus into the sort of leader that he wants, that he made in Gorsad. And I think he's worried, perhaps because of Gorsad's health, that and this beast, that his people may lose confidence in him if this is not taken care of. And so we need to try and fix whatever's troubling Crow Hall, as well as hopefully bring Tuirlus back to Saruman so that he can be tutored and become a good leader of men.
Could Adrihil attempt to enhearten the
Absolutely.
Lord of the Hall?
What would you say?
Well, Master of the Hall, take heart, for we are the hands of the White Wizard, and as such we would see your lands kept safe against the terror of this beast. Very, very much like the Helm himself, a great beast which haunts your lands, I would see that you are protected and kept safe.
His eyes perk up when you mention that. Add a bonus die to your roll. You know of Helm and Wolf. Nice. You get a success. So there's 1 success. He says, "You know of Helm and Wolf. I am impressed. No one knows where this beast dwells. It's been able to slip away from our best hunters. Perhaps it's a ghost that leaves no tracks. When other foes come near the hall, the crows here give warning, and the warriors can prepare, but the beast strikes without warning in deadly silence. Therefore, it has become the custom of the people here to take refuge in the hall by night. 3 times the monster's gotten inside the outer palisade. We hear it snuffling and scratching at the door. The first time we were all sleeping out in our huts, and it took 3 people. The second time it took half the pigs and sheep. The third time it took the rest. If it comes back again, who will it take?"
Out of character, could you repeat what animals did it take?
"Yes. It's taken our pigs and our sheep. It took half of them on the second night that it was here. The third time it came, it took the rest, and we were left without anything, without any animals to sustain us."
That's very tragic. I
Yes.
hope you will somehow survive the winter.
"Yes, winter is coming swiftly, and we will starve. Thankfully, some of my men have found a flock of sheep that was wild out in the hills, and they've brought it here to us, a great boon. Perhaps we are being
Wild
watched
sheep.
over by Wolf himself." Who goes next? Do you sing him the song of Helm Hammerhand?
No.
That's probably not going to land well with him.
That's the wrong song. I could offer a riddle roll because certainly there's a lot to uncover here. The nature of the beast.
Yeah, so maybe you start asking questions about the beast, and he gives you information about the hall and the crows, and he's very intrigued by your line of questions. He can tell that you have come prepared. And go ahead and make that riddle roll. "There's much I would share with you, but first I must know of your character."
And again, using my stern nature
Perfect.
to inspire myself.
Yep, and
that works.
that'll make you inspired.
As he asked about character.
Ooh, a Gandalf rune and an added success, so that will count as 2 successes. So that is actually everything that we need. We still have 2 more attempts. Do you want to try and boost him up a little bit, or do you feel confident that you have made your case with him?
I think we have. Correct.
Yeah, I think you have. And as you ask these questions, let's go back to Inside Crow Hall. As you
You
ask
might mention about his son as well. Bring him back.
My son. Yes. Let me tell you a tale of this beast. And he does most of the talking for what comes next. Occasionally, Dunrock might chime in with a few choice words. He sits heavily upon the carved chair at the head of the hall. Age and sickness weigh upon him, but there is still strength in his broad shoulders and command in his voice. And the gathered Dunlendings, they fall silent when he speaks. He studies you all for a moment before nodding. "You wish to hear of the beast? Good. Better to speak plainly than whisper like frightened children." He leans forward, resting both his hands upon his staff. "It came first in the depths of winter. A hard winter, colder than any I remember. The shepherds in the high grazing lands began bringing strange tales back to the hall. They spoke of a creature stalking the hills after dark. At first I thought it nothing more than fear and snow shadows. Well, the shepherds claimed it had a face like a dead man's skull, and eyes that shone white in the darkness. Then we found what was left of the sheep. Torn apart. Not killed for hunger alone, but slaughtered. Several weeks passed after that. No sign of the creature. Then it struck again. More sheep taken, more blood spilled. And he pauses to drink from a cup. After the third attack, things became serious. And he gestures toward the rafters overhead where a few crows perch. The crows saw it coming, and at this several Dunlendings nod. They have watched over Crow Hall longer than any man alive can remember. When strangers approach, they cry out. When wolves prowl nearby, they cry out. When danger comes, they cry out. And Dunrock gives a brief grunt. Yes, yes. Well, they raised such a racket that nobody slept that night. And Gorsad allows himself a faint smile. Aye, enough noise to wake the dead. Then his face grows grave once more. The beast approached from the eastern hills. The crows screamed their warning. Dunrock and my son Tuirlus gathered warriors and met the creature before it reached the hall. And Dunrock folds his arms. We wounded it, or thought we did. It fled into the darkness before it could be slain. That should have been the end of it, but it was not. And the hall grows very quiet. The next attack was the worst. Somehow, the beast entered the inner palisade itself, and several of the villagers you see making a gesture, a sign to ward off evil. It walked around the very walls of Crow Hall, and his gaze drifts toward the doors. No warning, no cries, no alarm. And for the first time, uncertainty enters his voice. The crows, they never sounded. A long silence follows. Gorsad shakes his head slowly. Aye, they should have. He clears his throat. When we discovered its tracks, Tuirlus gathered warriors and pursued it into the mountains. And pride briefly brightens his face. My son has courage enough for 10 men. But then that pride fades like the light of a setting sun. They lost the trail among the high crags. He has not yet returned. And the old chieftain stares into the fire for several moments. I tell myself he is merely ranging farther than expected, and a few of the villagers avoid meeting his eyes. But each passing day makes that harder to believe. Since then, most of our folk have abandoned their farms and taken shelter here. The beast has returned twice more. And again he pauses, and both times he looks up to the crows perched in the rafters. The birds remained silent. If I were 20 years younger, I would have hunted the creature myself. And his hand trembles slightly as he grips his staff. But age has its victories over all men. And Dunrock places a hand on the old chief's shoulder. I advised caution, he says, and a few warriors nod in agreement. And Gorsad grunts, he did, and he was right. The old chief raises his eyes and looks to all of you. So we wait for Tuirlus, my son, for answers, or for someone brave or foolish enough to find the beast before it finds us again. Have you been sent to help us? Has Saruman kept his promise?
Yes, indeed. Your lordliness, Saruman has sent us to not only bring you this gift, but to aid you, and, if permitted, to have your son brought to Isengard to learn that he might be a leader as great as yourself.
Well, I wish I knew where he was. He's away hunting. He's been gone a long time. Sometimes he goes down into the lands of the Forgoyle, the Strawheads, the men of Rohan. and steals from them. Well, Dunwalla says he will come back soon, and we eagerly await that day. And at the mention of her name, Dunwalla appears and joins Gorsad and Dunrock. Let me post a picture. And Dunrock looks over at his sister and nods, and she gives him a smile and puts a hand warmly on Gorsad's shoulder. And she says, "Fear not, my king. Your son will return soon. Of that I am convinced." But enough talk. Let this hall be made merry. We will have a meal. Slaughter some of the lambs. We will feast tonight. Let me bring Dunwalla in here. Put her right there. Have you any other news for me from Saruman?
I would probably share the news that we found a burned out farm when traveling. Well, not burned out, just raided.
Well, these are hard lands. These are not civilized lands that perhaps you are accustomed to. We are a people that survive by our own strength, both of arms and of will. Perhaps whoever needed what that poor fellow had, perhaps their need was greater than his. I cannot speak, for I did not know the man, nor do I know who did this. And give me an insight roll there, Thaladir. Ooh, you get the sense he knows darn well who did this. He knows it was his people that did it. He's trying to be discreet. Those sheep that are in their pens, they must have come from somewhere. In his story, the sheep were all eaten, but now he's got a bunch of sheep in pens.
Yeah, he did say that someone managed to find a wild, unattended flock, so yeah.
It was
Happens.
unattended after they killed the guy that owned them.
Yeah.
So he may know that we know, but we're all being indiscreet.
Yeah, you get the sense he doesn't want to make this uncomfortable, but you know that he knows, and he knows that you know.
Because we didn't mention anything about tracks leading
Right.
here or anything like that. But just found the outpost. Okay.
Do you have any other questions for him before the feast is made ready?
When your son went tracking for the beast, did he report anything new or a direction that the beast may have gone in, or any of your other scouts? Because we are honor bound to help you track down this beast.
And I am bound to offer what aid that I can. Yes,
Okay.
the trails that we were able to follow led into the hills to the east. But Twirlus has been gone a long time, and I fear that perhaps he has been all too successful in finding this monster. But we will not say such dark things. No, my son still lives. He still lives. And he turns and looks at Dunrock and nods his head firmly, and Dunrock gives him a polite bow.
Great Crow Lord, perhaps I might offer you another gift, since the bottle was lost, unfortunately. Perhaps I might offer my services as a healer. I have no master by any means, but I have some skill in the art of healing.
Well, I have some infirmity of the joints. It troubles me greatly, especially at night, and sometimes I'm dealing with a great amount of pain. It's one thing for me to be less than whole of body. Look at Ivok, son of Imlar, who has not walked since he was 7 years old, but still strikes fear into the hearts of his enemies. But it is something also entirely when a chieftain loses his strength. And you see him propping a foot gently on a small stool near where he is seated. Give me a healing roll, just as you look at him to try and diagnose what might be going on.
Well, I'm not going to spend hope, so if this is just to, see if I can determine it.
Yeah, to see if you can just tell. This is not the roll to try and administer to him. But if you can know what's going on, it will help you. Yeah, you're not sure. It's, could be arthritis, could be something similar, some sort of degenerative process or autoimmune process. You don't know. But perhaps
also,
you can relieve that.
Yes, I just real quick. I did drop my helm, so I'm not sure why it's still saying I'm weary.
I need to take weary off of your character sheet. So let me do that real quickly. Okay, now you're not weary. So let's see what that roll would have been. It would have been an 11. So still would have failed.
And I could also offer a healing roll.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. As you step up and look over Gorsad respectfully, you're not poking and prodding him. And,
right.
Show me your teeth, old man. Ooh, you missed it by 1. You suspect the issue is in his left leg, or perhaps his left foot. You're not sure. It could be an infection. It could be something in there. I mean, he's not going to take maybe gout. He's not going to take his boot off here and show you, but you think it's probably gout. What healing salves and balms have you brought? It is not the medicine of the wizard, so I have my doubts, but I'll take anything at this point.
Well, if you would permit it, I have king's foil that I carry with me, and it eases pain, and I might see if I might bring you some comfort from your ailment.
King's foil? We feed it to the sheep. It's a weed. How can this help a man?
Yes, but if used properly, it can provide some comfort.
Show me. And Dunrock steps closer and says, "Sire, is this wise?" And he looks at him and says, "Step back, Dunrock. I invite them here to tend to me. They are guests in our hall. We will show them courtesy. They have brought gifts. They have been respectful." And Dunrock bows his head and takes a step back.
I'm actually considering if this is not a time for Saruman's healing magic success.
Yeah, right? That would be an automatic success.
I suppose I could use that for this roll.
So we will ignore what you get on your feat die. It will be an automatic success. So I'm going to drop our fellowship points down to 5. You can make a healing roll, and we're just looking for extra 6s.
All right, and I will use my king's foil, which will give me an extra die.
Yep, add a bonus die to that. Good thing it was a magical success, because now that's an extraordinary magical success.
Actually, you can mark it down as magic success when rolling it in the roll menu.
Oh, does it let you? Oh, excellent. Excellent. Using magic, that's going to increase the eye awareness. And as you bring out the King's Foil, Adriel, describe for me how this is magical. What happens in the hall, or what happens to Gorsad, or to you as you heal him? What visible or auditory event happens that lets others know that magic was involved, that Saruman had his hand in this healing?
Yes, perhaps I speak in some ancient tongues that are not recognized by many in the hall, and that seems to bring out the healing qualities, the noble qualities of the King's Foil, and allow it to help aid the King's wound.
Many of the Dunlendings here in the hall look on with a sense of awe and reverence as you do this. One, however, does not, and that's Dunwalla. She looks at you with a look of disgust and she whispers to her brother something, and he shakes his head, no, no. And she looks again at you as though she is very mistrustful of what just happened. And she goes and whispers to a few other people, sorcery, sorcery. I warned you of this. The wizard is making his move. And the people just kind of dismiss her. They raise a hand. No, no, no. He's helping Gorsad. And when you're done, Gorsad stands, and he's very tentative to put weight on that foot. And then he kind of leans into it, and he smiles and stands fully upright and lets out a breath. Ah, I feel 20 years younger. Bring me my spear, and I'll go after the beast myself. And there's cheers that erupt throughout the hall. And let me have Callan here give me an insight roll.
Right. Insight. Ew.
Oh, you came close.
Yeah.
As the cheers erupt around the hall, you see that many of the people they're pleased to see their leader regain some of his former strength. It would be like in the Two Towers when King Theoden recovers his strength by grabbing his sword, and everyone is enheartened by that. You see this hall is very enheartened by seeing their leader in a position of strength, not a crippled old man in his chair. And you get a sense that this has done great things for him and for the people of Crow Hall. Dunrock comes on and says, Gorsad, no, we won't be taking your spear out after the beast. Leave that to the young men. You must lead from here. Your place is here. You send us to do the dirty work. You lead the people. And he finally relents and says, yes, you speak wisdom, Dunrock. That's why I keep you around. Now, that evening, virtually the whole of the clan gather in Crow Hall. Every bench is full, and you must sit shoulder to shoulder with Dunlendings. The meal is a relatively meager one. What little meat there is gets taken by Dunrock's warriors, but because of your success in the council, because you healed Gorsad, he shares a fine portion of meat with you, and it's fine lamb that's been roasted over a fire. It's clear that the people here fear to sleep outside. They intend to stay here within the safety of the hall. And much of the gossip in the hall is about Gorsad's ability to lead the clan, and you're all privy to this. There's so many people talking. You're hearing multiple conversations at a time. Many people are speculating about what ill deed on his part is responsible for bringing such bad luck down upon them all. And a few even say that a weak leader brings troubled times. And you even hear one or two that say perhaps it would be better if Gorsad stepped down. And others say, no, he's regained his strength. Aye, but for how long? Well, during the meal, Dunwalla, the sister of Dunrock, she comes and sits in her place near her brother, and she has a one-eyed crow that sits on her shoulder, croaking into her ear. And the Dunlendings fall silent as she makes her way across the room. She grins at everyone and says, "Sleep lightly. The crows are disturbed tonight. Maybe it is these strangers, maybe not." And many of the Dunlendings make signs with their hands to ward off evil, and some even dare whisper that Dunwalla is a source of bad luck herself. Let me have Moriel make either an insight or an awareness roll.
I'll do awareness.
Ooh, we'll take the 10. You see that Vila, the young daughter of Gorsad, she seems to be frightened of Dunwalla, and she kind of leans into Gorsad for protection whenever Dunwalla speaks or draws close to her. Now, later that evening, she comes in and approaches Faladir. And she says, "May I speak with you privately?" This is Dunwalla speaking.
But
to
of
Faladir.
course, my lady.
Yes. Come here to the tower room up above. And
I will let my companions know that I am being led off by a shady lady. So if I die, they should delete my browser history.
delete my browser history and then avenge me.
Take care, Faladir.
You might have the time of your life.
Yeah, if you hear a scream and a thump from outside as his body is hurled off of the tower, you'll know what happened. As you climb the tower, she says these are my private chambers, and the stone floor is stained with the droppings of birds, and there's a small shrine in one corner. There's a tangle of sticks and bones and bird skulls that is somewhat unsettling. There's a pot of sticky, foul-smelling tree sap with a candle wick stuck in it that smolders in the shrine. The smoke here is heady and sickening. Dunwalla, she says, I know that you are emissaries of Isengard. I want you to understand that the White Wizard has no business meddling in the affairs of Crow Hall. The Dunlendings will choose their own path and deal with their own troubles. Soon Tuirlus will return, and he will lead the clan into better days. I have no quarrel with you as long as you do not interfere in our ways. You will have no luck hunting the beast. If you try, you will perish. It would be best for you to go home. Tell Saruman that the people of Crow Hall will take care of themselves. We do not need his poison in here that he would give to Gorsad.
While I respect the proud traditions of your people and desire to decide their own matters, the fact is you could benefit from Saruman's allegiance.
In what way? Would he not just place a puppet here to further his own desires?
I wish to disagree, but your lord did greet us in a language that is not native to you.
That is the thin end of the wedge. He is more civilized than you think, and that is not a good thing. We are a proud people, a people that live off the land. We have no need for the things of towns and cities.
Yet you must plunder to survive.
That has been our way for generations. Would you...
That is not something that will sustain you for long. Soon your neighbors will get too powerful and may take more than offense to this.
Is that a threat?
Not from me. I have no business in this land.
Is that a threat from Orthanc?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Are you in league with the Strawheads from Rohan?
The Horse Lords.
Yes.
I have heard of them, but not much more than they are subjects to kings of Gondor. Well, back when they had a king from Lords of Gondor.
Yes. They only serve themselves now. They are
And that is why you need some help against them.
You offer help against them. And she
I do
smiles.
not. I do not. What the White Wizard will do, I cannot say. But as I said, Crow Hall could benefit from the White Wizard if you are to stand against the Horse Lords.
Give me a courtesy roll with 1 bonus die.
If I spend hope, can I claim inspiration from my lordly appearance?
Yes, absolutely.
And you said one bonus.
Yep, in addition to
Yep.
inspired. Nice.
Button roll.
Nailed it. Needed a 16, you got a 16. She says, I am glad that we have spoken. You are wise. I think I trust you. We are distrustful of outsiders, but you come from a position of power that we may need. Again, I would ask you to forget the troubles here at Crow Hall. We will take care of them. We have a competent leader in Gorsad and his son Tawirlus. We will hunt the beast. Return to Isengard and tell Saruman that we are well kept.
I fear that at least our honor of all of us, including me, requires that we at least try hunting the beast, even if it may cost us our life.
If it will satisfy you, then so be it. If I can offer any assistance, you have but to ask, and I will give what aid that I can. Now, go with the blessing of Crow Hall. And she takes a single black feather and holds it over the flame that's burning in that little pot of sap, so that it is imbued with the smell of the smoke. And she hands it to you as a gift or a token. You're not sure.
One part of me wants to be disgusted, because this is like, I am from Rivendell. Like, this is it's effectively a city folk, and this is shamanistic, dirty, smelly garbage.
Now you did pass your courtesy roll, so
I will try to be as kind and as welcoming to it. I will actually try to appreciate as a good gesture. I do not expect evil intent from her, as much as she still thinks we should not intervene in the hunt.
Excellent. She then says, let us return to the hall, lest your companions think that you have fallen upon something foul here in these halls. There is no danger in these halls at present. The beast may yet come tonight, but I think we are safe for the night. Gorsad is proud, and he has renewed strength. I do not think the beast will come this night. So sleep well. And she leads you back downstairs.
Good night to you.
Now, do you sleep in the main hall that night, or do you go out? It's hot and it's crowded and loud with the snores and worried talk of Dunlandings. You're more than welcome to sleep in there, or you can go outside. There is a barn, if you wish to. The night would be cold and somewhat lonely. The only company would be the crows that delight in tormenting you by picking at your belongings and stealing shiny things all night. Where do you spend the night?
Together for us to talk away from everybody.
So maybe the barn? Or do some of you want to stay in the hall and some go to the barn? You want to split the party?
I think, yes. I think we should do some sort of team huddle to discuss what to do with this.
You'll get no privacy in the hall. It is incredibly crowded.
So I think Baldur has some stories to tell this conversation.
Yeah, so I guess.
Barn, but
yeah.
What does everybody say?
We'll call it the smokers' break and go discuss our findings.
There we go.
As you head out into the barn for the evening.
I assume even the barn contains several crows that are listening.
Oh yeah, quite a few. Several crows in there. You suspect that they are indeed listening. You know that crows are intelligent, and that one seemed to be talking to her, and they're squawking, but you can't seem to understand any of what they say. You have a chance out here to speak. You think privately, although there are crows. Perhaps you huddle up or something. I am going to have one of you, and it's going to be Adrahil. Give me an awareness roll. Perfect. So maybe you step out of the barn for a moment. Maybe you need to go and relieve yourself. And as you step out, you spot something just outside the fence. It's a tall, pale figure. And as soon as you see it, the figure turns and flees. This didn't look like a bear or a beast. It looked like a wild man, caked in mud and leaves and scraggly hair and beard, very tall, very broad. And he turns and flees into the darkness.
I will quickly call for Callan here. I know that his eyes are keen and that he might spy what this is.
Callan here, if you want to make either a hunting or a scan or a lore roll, you can do either of those. It's dark. It's going to be hard to try and follow this trail. And you notice that when you saw this, Adrahil, the crows were squawking loudly. They had raised an alarm.
Okay, can I use my keen-eyed for this?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I forget how to do
The bonus die? Or so you spend a hope point, and then it will let you choose inspired.
Oh, that's right. It's right there. There we go.
Got it. Nailed it. By 1 point. So it was using your hope and your keen eye. This was no beast. This looks like a wild man, like a Dunlanding. And based on his size, you would not be at all shocked if this was not the person that made those heavy prints near Sigulf's burnt farmhouse. And
I think the beast is actually a man.
Well, perhaps we should pursue him while we know where he is.
Yeah.
I don't think any man can carry off several heads of cattle at one visit. This might have been a man, but the beast may still be something else.
Whatever it was, the crows sounded an alarm when this thing, if it is a man or beast, when it approached, and it fled as soon as it spotted Adrahil looking at it. And as you return back and tell everybody, hey, there was something out there, that's where we're going to end the session. Now, you will get a good night's sleep here, so everyone can remove a point of fatigue from your characters. So that's under your load in the little diamond. Just click on the score, reduce it by 1. And then you can also, we'll be able to pull points to restore some hope. So we have 5 points in the fellowship pool that if anyone wants to take them, we've got Targon you're down by 5. In fact, you're below half. Adrahil, you've lost 1. Moriel has taken 2. Thaladir has taken 3, and Callan here has taken 6. So you're below half as well. So we have 5 total points. How do you guys want to split those up? You could each take 1 if you wanted.
You take 1.
Yeah. So if everyone
definitely wants at least 1.
So if everyone wants to take at least 1 point of hope, that'll be the 5. And so on your character, you can go to your hope. In the big box is your current score. So don't change the max score, but you can change the current score of hope. Add 1 to that. We're going to do some the end of session experience points. So everybody will get 3 skill points and 3 adventure points. These are used during a fellowship phase to increase your skills, to increase valor, wisdom, your combat skills. We'll have a fellowship phase after we finish the adventure, probably 1 more session. We'll be done with the Beast of Dunland. And then you'll be able to spend those points if you like. In fact, we'll actually have Yule in between this adventure and the next one. So we'll do a Yule where you get to do a little bit more than just fellowship points. You get to get all your hope points back, which is marvelous. And so feel free to use lots of hope next session because you'll be getting it back. Unless, this ends up taking multiple sessions. But I think 1 more session will finish this adventure. So we've done the fatigue. We've got session. Oh, Shadow. For helping. So we've not found Gladwyn, the daughter, but we did help with We helped Gorsad. We helped heal him, even though it looked like Dunrock stole whatever medicine that Saruman may have put in there. So everyone can recover 1 point of shadow for that.
It's a good point. Yeah, we missed that kidnapped girl. I think we should try to remember that.
Yeah, none of you
I'll make a note
looked
somewhere.
for a girl in the hall. Maybe she was here in the hall. If they brought the sheep here.
I know. I thought about only the daughter of the ruler, so I completely forgot about the hostage.
Yeah, so there is a hostage, and if we rescue her, that's going to remove a lot of our shadow.
I didn't think that she would be open or out in the open myself, but perhaps.
And she may have been, or she may be hidden somewhere. Next time we will pick it up right where we left off with, hey, we saw some guy outside the fence, and we'll kind of run from there. We should have Gorik with us, our dwarf. So maybe he was either behind the scenes during all of this session, or maybe he was already here at Crow Hall. I'll let him decide how he joins the party, but he was unable to join us tonight. Any questions about the adventure, kind of what we're doing? I want to make sure everyone's kind of on the same page. Any questions about the plot, our goal here, or anything that has transpired? Excellent.
I'm kind of not sure, like as players, what we will do with. Like, we still haven't opened the topic of getting someone into Isengard for education. That's something
right.
we need
Yeah.
to...
At some point, do we convince Gorsad, hey, let us take your son back to Saruman, and let him teach your son a while? I mean, he may be open to that. He did it himself, and it seems to have benefited him. So he may like that.
I'll find him first.
Yeah, gotta find him
Yeah,
first.
I think he would be open to it because he did it. Yeah.
Exactly.
He might not be around, is what I'm thinking. But,
yeah. So, and if he's not around, who takes over if Gorsad fails? That's the
exactly.
That's the
No,
question.
this is a good adventure.
Yeah.
Got some mystery to it.
So reading this, I absolutely love this adventure. I think it would make an amazing one shot. It's running probably 2 sessions. I could probably compress it into one because I just omit everything with Saruman at the beginning and just have you
do a 2-shot.
Yeah, maybe a 2-shot. But it's super fun because it's a great introductory adventure because you've got role playing, you've got some council, some journey. There will likely be some combat, so it's really cool. And it's got great NPCs, so I think it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. I will get this posted here in just a few minutes, and then we don't meet for 2 weeks. So I'll do a little refresher for us before the next session, so we remember kind of where we are and what we're doing. But thanks everybody for playing awesome. Everyone did really well. The role playing was fantastic. We've got some great stuff ahead of us, and even right now it's like, oh man, what is going on? What is this beast, and who's this strange muddy guy outside the fence? So it's going to be tons and tons of fun.